will be a great wrestling podcast, and you can believe in that.
I knew he was going to do it. I knew.
This is OT3.
Prepare for launch in 3, 2, 1.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to OT3. I almost said SSP. I don't know why I was thinking about that. But I guess because last week on Monday, as you guys know, we were not here. We were doing the Shipe Sports Talk, and due to March Madness, we did not have an episode of OT3, but we're back tonight for episode 39, and we're on the road to WrestleMania. And I'm glad to be here tonight with, of course, my co-host and producer, Paul. How we doing tonight, Paul?
Well, with my mic down, doing really well, man. Trying to get kicked this cold, but I'm good.
Fair enough. And my other host, Matt. What's going on, Matt?
You see here, brothers, you're looking at the new world order of podcasting. Myself, Anthony, and Paul. And we're going to take over this industry because we are the NWO. And if my camera didn't cost that much, I probably would spray paint it in the camera, but it's Paul, so I'm not doing that.
It's for life, man.
Nice.
That's right. Well, Paul, as you can see, he did say he wasn't feeling. We hope you feel better. I know you've been not feeling too well for a little bit now, so we're hoping you start to feel better. I know you said you got a doctor's appointment, so that'll be good.
Yeah, hopefully.
But
they can fix
yeah,
me.
we're on the road to. Well, I'm sorry, Paul. What'd you say?
No, sorry. I was just saying, hopefully they can fix me. I've been putting it off for a long time. My wife is just like, what are you doing? Go get seen, you know? But whatever. Stubborn.
Fair enough. I understand that. I'm not a big fan of the doctor myself, so. But with that being
Dr.
said,
Thugonomics?
no, not him.
Oh.
We're not talking about him yet. But we're on the road to WrestleMania, Matt. I can't believe we're already here. I know we talked about it for a while, that they had all these other pay-per-views coming up and this and that, but we are here. We're 2 weeks out, not even 2 weeks out, 13 days to be exact, but 2 Sundays from yesterday. WrestleMania will be underway on the Sunday. Then you got TakeOver and the Hall of Fame. So let's talk a little bit about some of the things for the Hall of Fame that we know as of now. Matt, I don't know if you saw, but it was announced today. You know how they're doing the Warrior Award now?
Yes.
But it was announced, I think, yesterday or today that do you remember the football player from Rutgers, Eric LeGrand, the one that was he is actually receiving the Warrior Award this year at the Hall of Fame.
Awesome.
So I think that's fantastic. It's a very sad story. If you haven't had a chance to, for anyone that hasn't seen that, he was a standout player in Rutgers. He was going to be really good, and unfortunately, he was Matt. I don't know. Do you know exactly the whole story? I know he was paralyzed.
I believe it was on a kickoff, and this was
it was on a kickoff, right?
Started the whole kickoff controversy. I was actually, and he was paralyzed from isn't the neck down? I believe.
I think it was. I know it was his spinal cord that got injured.
Helmet
and
to
it's
helmet.
it was paralyzed from the neck down. So like Matt said, and a very sad thing, But for someone that went through that trip, horrible accident, he's a motivational speaker now, and he still tries to display positivity, and he is definitely what the Ultimate Warrior, was about, and I'm glad to see him getting that nomination this year for the Warrior Award in the 2017 Hall of Fame. Some other guys that obviously we already knew that were going to be in, but now we know who's inducting them. For one, Rick Rude, long overdue, like we said, will be inducted by Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. It was announced that Jim Cornette would induct the Rock and Roll Express. Do you know who's inducting Teddy Long?
I have not heard. No.
I don't know about that either. I want to say... Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's JBL and Farouk or Ron Simmons.
Okay.
However you'd like to do that. They're inducting Teddy Long. We know John Cena now is inducting Kurt Angle, which is very cool for it to come full circle for both of them, since John Cena's first match was against Angle. Angle will come back into WWE and be inducted into the Hall of Fame that night by John Cena. So I think that's a very cool thing that they're going to do on the Hall of Fame. That's actually one of my favorite nights of the year for the WWE, to see all the, the guys that haven't been around for a while coming out and, getting the respect that they deserve, and some of these guys finally getting put to the Hall of Fame. And this class this year, I'm actually very excited for. I know Beth Phoenix, another one that's inducted. I don't know if they have announced her inductor yet. And I don't think we're missing anybody else, right? I think that's the 6, right, that they've announced?
Mm-hmm.
Teddy Long, Rude, Angle, Beth Phoenix, the Rock and Roll Express. Am I missing somebody? And then, of course, the Warrior Award to Eric LeGrand, which we know. But I feel like I'm missing someone.
I don't think you are.
Maybe they'll announce one more. Maybe that's what it is.
Jimmy Superfly.
Oh,
Snuka.
did you wait? You said the Rock and Roll Express, right?
Rock and Roll Express. Yeah, they're going to be inducted by Cornette. Jim Cornette.
Can't think of any more.
Yeah, I think that might be it. So, yeah. So, the Hall of Fame will take place Friday. Then Saturday, we'll have NXT TakeOver. Matches are still getting announced for that as we speak. Has any more been announced that you? I know that they're the talk of the. I don't want to say anything yet because I've seen some of the spoilers. So we'll wait till next week to talk about that card, just because it might be a spoiler for somebody that hasn't seen it yet. So we'll wait on that. That'll be next week as well, and another big episode, the NXT Takeover, and then of course WrestleMania. We know majority of matches now for the most part on the Raw and SmackDown side.
I'm sorry if I'm quiet. I'm trying to do a little thing on the Twitter page that we'll announce later. So if I'm quiet, I'm slowly taking my time uploading some stuff on the Twitter page. Sorry about that, fans. Yeah,
That's
go
right,
ahead.
Paul. Let them know.
Okay.
Oh, boy. So, Sunday, like I said, we have WrestleMania. So, let's talk about Raw and SmackDown. You know, we're talking about the road to WrestleMania. Let's break it down show by show and kind of talk about how we're getting into these shows, what matches we have from each side, and how they're going to continue to get built up going forward. So, we'll start with Raw since Raw is tonight. The match that we all know is going to take place. It's the third time these two will face off. Goldberg, Brock Lesnar. It's going to be for the Universal title for sure now. We thought, there'd been speculation that maybe they'd have a rematch the next night for Owens, but now Owens is firmly set on Jericho. So tonight, Lesnar is supposed to be there. I don't think Goldberg's there. So do you see anything?
I think they said subject for one more Raw, which will be, I guess, next week.
Do you think that there's anything of substance going to happen tonight for Lesnar? You think it's just going to be another in the ring thing for Heyman, and that's going to be about it?
Just another in the ring thing for Heyman. I think that's about it.
Yep, I agree with you on that. So really not much there between those two. Then you have Owens and Jericho, which has been awesome the last couple weeks since Jericho. Unfortunately, it cost Owens a title, and I know I would have preferred to see the Universal title on the line in that match. But the promos and everything they've been saying with back and forth to each other has been very good ever since the Festival of Friendship took place, and that's going to continue between the two of them. So I'm excited to see where that goes tonight, whether it be another tag team match with them involved or maybe just some kind of another highlight reel. He has no idea, Paul. It's great. It's great.
What?
Nothing. You're good. So we'll see how that continues to unfold. The women's title picture. Dana Brooke just turned on Charlotte last week. We already know it's going to be a triple threat between Sasha, Charlotte, and Bayley for the title.
I think they add more.
You think they're going to add more?
Yep.
What do you think they're going to add? Let's hear that.
I think Nia Jax and Dana Brooke are going to be added to this match.
You think they're going to make it a 5-way just like SmackDown's doing?
Yep.
I don't know about that, man.
Which I think is dumb because I think if they do that, I don't like it. It takes away from. But then again, they had a triple threat last year for the same titles. I mean, it's basically Bayley just replaced Becky Lynch. So I don't know, man. I feel like they're reusing stuff just with different people.
Yeah, that's fair. I think they're going to keep it. I think the triple threat stays just because it's going to be. It's an Orlando thing. Those are the 4 horsewomen. I think they're just going to leave it at that.
4? I thought there's only 3. Where did you get your math?
I'm saying they have the 4 horsewomen where it started, and now they're going to have just the 3 of them take place. If Becky was on Raw, I think that she's inserted into the match. But to me, it just seems like WrestleMania 32. I think the match is still going to be good, but it's just like last year. It was a triple threat. All they did this time was take Becky out for Bayley Lynch. Bayley Lynch. Wow. They took Becky Lynch out for Bayley. Jesus. Can't even get my words together here.
Where's the sound effect? There it is. All right.
Yeah. And then the tag team division, you now know on the Raw side, is going to be a triple threat match for the titles where you're going to have Gallows and Anderson taking on the team of Enzo and Cass, taking on the team of Sheamus and Cesaro.
Wait, they're not going to have the new tag team on there? I'm a little disappointed in that.
No, we're not talking about that. I'm not doing that. Not today.
All right, keep going.
So we'll see if that continues tonight. Obviously, like I said, a lot of these matches have already been announced, There's not much to continue. There's
You
a lot of
forgot
guys.
about one Raw match.
Well, I didn't get to all of them yet.
Okay, I was about to say, you can't forget about my boy.
I don't want to talk about him, and that was my next point.
You're so
The
disrespectful.
Undertaker is at Raw tonight, and it's officially announced last week that the Undertaker would take on Roman Reigns. Shawn Michaels surprised many people last week by showing up and coming down and telling him basically that, he needs, if he's already this, worried about the Undertaker, that the Undertaker's already in his head and they're not even at WrestleMania yet. And then Roman kind of, said something where people might have thought, hey, maybe they're going to actually go through with it, but it was just to continue Roman being the guy. And Roman just said, you know what, the Undertaker retired you, and I'm going to retire the Undertaker, and then got blasted by Braun Strowman on the way up the apron.
I thought he died.
That was some hit, man. Holy moly.
Now, are we seeing like a face type of thing for Braun where it seems like he's defending or showing respect to these veterans? We saw last week, when Taker actually came out 2 weeks ago, he kind of just nodded his head in a sign of respect, like, all right, this is your yard. I'm going to back off. And then this week, can you defend Shawn a little bit? I mean, are we seeing a little type of face movement from Braun Strowman where he's kind of defending or respecting the veterans?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that they see that Strowman has gotten over with the fans a lot more than they expected, and he's actually doing quite well. His in-ring ability is actually very good, and I think he should be given more of a chance, to be honest. So hopefully that is something that they continue to do. But we'll see how that works out.
Well, they did say when they had Undertaker come out, the reason they did that before, Taker Roman would see the kind of reaction. You saw the fans went from, what was it, holy shit, to when Roman came out, it was a boo. So, I mean, it pretty much showed what fans wanted.
Yeah, the fans want to see Strowman. Well, that's just because the fans want to see anything but Roman at this point.
The fans don't.
Yeah, they do. They know what they want. That's why they continuously boo Roman. You just want to see Roman in every main event. You want to see Roman with every title possible. That's what you want.
Oh, okay. He can win the women's title. I'd be happy with it.
Yeah, that's what I know. Well, we'll leave that for another time. Is there anything else I'm missing on Raw side for WrestleMania-wise? I mean, we could continue to talk about Raw, but is there any other WrestleMania things? I know that's 5, right?
I think that's all that they got over there.
Obviously, the Battle Royal. They've announced.
Did we even talk about Rollins?
Oh, Rollins and Triple H. See, I knew we were missing a match. Yeah.
Jeez,
how did we miss that? So, big thing on Raw last week. The ending of Raw. Rollins seems to be cleared.
They said he is not medically. He's medically cleared to get in the ring, but not under full competition. He can do.
Can't have full contact yet.
Yes, which is why last week they did what he did.
Yeah, they blast him in the leg with a freaking crutch.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know about that. Jeez, I don't know about that. I don't know how I feel about that, but at least we know Rollins will be there for WrestleMania. You okay there, Matt?
I'm trying to do this for the show.
Put it off to the end. That's fine. You can do it later, so we can continue to talk. Don't worry about it.
All right.
So we know Rollins and Triple H. That's actually on the Raw side. I think that's the match I'm most excited for. The match I'm least excited for is that Goldberg and Lesnar match, man.
Well, there are rumors right now going around that it's going to be a squash match.
Yeah, and it's going to end WrestleMania. It's going to be the last match of the night.
Now there's rumors coming out that Brock is going to hold that title till next year.
Yep, and he's going to be built up again so that Roman can beat him. And if that happens, I will never watch anything with Roman or Brock Lesnar ever again. You can put it on the books right now.
Well, okay, can we first talk about how this will be the first pay-per-view combined that no Shield member is part of a major championship bout? Can we just...
Yeah, they're not in a world title match.
I
will.
Can we give a moment to clap? Paul,
yeah, finally, Roman doesn't get a title match. All right, good job. WWE finally realizing
But,
it.
I mean, what's Brock going to do? Wrestle at the big ones and then that's it?
Dude, they need to get rid of that. That whole thing is just terrible.
You know
terrible
what I
idea.
want? I want Brock versus Strowman. And I want Strowman to actually...
That's what it should be at SummerSlam. That's who should beat him. And then Strowman should walk into WrestleMania as the champion. If you want to build someone up. Someone that's actually going to be there day in and day out. That would be the smart money. What am I doing sitting here with you on this? I should be the one writing the shows. We should be writing the shows on Raw.
I think every fan could write something better than this.
Because it's horrible. We're gonna get Brock Lesnar's gonna be the champion. So we're gonna have Brock Lesnar as the champion for a year where he's going to show up for 6 days out of that year. 6 dates, not 6 days. Like, come on.
What
And he's going. It doesn't
What-
make sense.
what show are you guys talking about that is terrible?
Monday Night Raw.
Oh, was it so wait, last Monday's I'm guessing, right?
You know what we need to hear?
The episode
today.
wasn't that bad. It's
You know
just
what we need?
The tapings.
You know what we need?
Okay.
We need a savior.
Who's that?
Oh no.
I
I'll
a
have
feeling
Paul
we're
play in a
about to
minute. But
find
keep
out.
going. Keep going. We'll talk about
Yeah.
who we need in a minute.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that Raw's bad all the time, Paul. It's just the way they write some. Like for instance, Brock Lesnar and Goldberg. Like both of them, think both of them are great, right?
Okay.
But they don't compete full time like the rest of the guys do. So when the shows happen, like Goldberg's been the champion. Now he only got the championship like March. It was the beginning of March at Fastlane, but he's been on like one Raw since then.
Okay.
Doesn't
Oh, it
compete.
sounds familiar to when Brock had the title.
Right.
When he had the run.
Goldberg had the title for like 4 to 5 months, but only showed up for maybe like 6, 7 Raws in a 5-month span. You know, so he's there a month out of the 5, if that,
We need a
combined.
savior.
So it has to get to a point.
I'd rather have a part-timer like Jericho have the title.
Well,
than-
Jericho's not a part-timer because even though he's a part-timer and only stays for a year, he stays every day of that year. He does all the live events, does everything. He doesn't miss it. That's what I'm saying. But Brock and, like, don't get me wrong, Brock and Goldberg are awesome. But to be the world champion when it's only one world champion on the show now with the brand split, it doesn't do anyone any good to fight over no title. There's no title to fight
You know what's
over.
also bullshit? Is when you have Brock Lesnar squash Kevin Owens at a house show.
And
That is stupid.
I mean, he did it to Randy Orton at SummerSlam.
So stupid. Can we please not talk about that SummerSlam match? That was so. Oh yeah, speaking of Brock and SummerSlam, it was supposed to set up for Shane versus Brock, and Brock shot that down. He was like, "No, I don't want to do it."
Yeah, of course not.
So he has
Of
all
course
the power in
doesn't.
the world.
It's
So why have
ridiculous,
him
man.
F5? Then why have him F5 Shane McMahon? There's no point to that then.
No, none of it made sense.
I hope Shane
in
comes
the
down and
grand-
screws him at WrestleMania. That'd be awesome.
Oh, at this point, it makes no sense. Like, I don't understand. It's the third match, and when Lesnar wins, Goldberg's still won 2 of the 3. So it doesn't, you might have won the last one, but what's this do? You know what I mean? Like, what's it do for you?
What is that?
I don't know. I heard that too.
This is who we need. I need this to play at WrestleMania, and I need Paul Heyman just to look like, oh my god! That's what I need. Remember that? Remember the Paul Heyman face when he does like this, Anthony?
Yeah,
Where he goes,
I know, but it's never gonna happen.
Wait,
All
what
right,
do
Paul,
you guys hear? Do you guys hear that?
Yeah.
What we need. This is what we need. Anthony, say it with me. This is our savior.
Oh, sorry about that. It
CM
wasn't
Punk
supposed
is
to
the
come
savior.
through. Oops.
All right, Paul, you can take that off now. But seriously, I'm sorry, man. I still wish he would come back. I really hope he does. I hope he patches whatever patch he has to do and come back.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see CM Punk back one day, but
I don't know. I'm
unfortunately-
sorry for bringing him up. I just can't take it because everything that he said during that pipe bomb is coming true.
Yeah, no, for the most part, he's pretty spot on.
Everything he said about the company from when he did the podcast with Colt Cabana, whatever the hell his name is.
You're right, Cabana.
It seems spot on with me. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think he's, like I said, there's definitely some truth to the statements he's made. I was a huge CM Punk fan, so to see him back would be fantastic, but
Don't forget,
think it's
we
gonna
still have to
take-
see what the hell The Rock's going to do at WrestleMania. He does something stupid every year.
oh no,
Maybe
maybe he'll get involved in the Goldberg and Lesnar match and
Maybe
there'll be
he'll-
no finish.
Maybe he'll squash the Wyatt family again.
Oh, gee, well, there is no Wyatt family anymore. The Wyatt family's over.
Thank God.
So, on Raw tonight, is there any? I don't think there was anything really announced.
No.
Oh, Strowman and Roman are supposed to face off. I heard tonight. You think that Strowman finally get the win? Or you think Roman wins again, or you think the Undertaker is involved here again?
I want to see Undertaker and Strowman do a double choke slam.
What if this leads to Strowman being involved in the match and making it a triple threat? Would you be okay with that at Mania?
That would save the match. As much as I love Roman, unless they turn him heel, if he wins, he's going to be boo out the arena. They'll riot. I hope you leave Orlando if he wins because something's going to get burned down. Your work will not be there on Monday when you go to work.
Yes, it will. They're
be
not going to be
burnt
that
around.
serious over Roman. People will get extremely upset though about that.
They better
They
make
will.
that the final match. 'Cause if he wins, people are walking out of that arena.
Oh, I know people are going to leave WrestleMania early. Yeah, no,
They better
that's
make.
going to
I'm
happen.
serious. They better make that. If they're smart, make that the final match. Otherwise, you're going to lose people. Don't put it in the
No.
first couple matches, because then people won't be there.
I agree.
All right.
I agree with you 100%.
You ready to go to SmackDown, the better brand?
Yeah, let's go to SmackDown, the better brand. Let's do that.
Let's talk about
SmackDown's.
Let's talk about AJ first.
Yeah, let's do that.
So, just announced last week, the now unemployed AJ Styles will face Shane McMahon at WrestleMania. The reason I say unemployed is because he finally attacked Shane McMahon. First of all, Shane takes more bumps than anyone else in that company in the back right now, and he's just a damn GM. I want to make note of that. He takes more bumps than anyone else. So, just put that out there. But yeah, I think Shane's a better superstar than half the Raw. That's just me.
Agreed.
Oh, you're agreeing with that? He's a better superstar?
I agree that he's better than most of the superstars on both brands.
So, what do you think about this match? Do you like it? I love it.
Yeah, I think that this is, obviously I would have liked to have seen Nakamura and AJ. That was a match on my list, but I think Shane and AJ is going to be one of the matches that's underrated and actually is going to be one of the better ones. Also, give props to AJ Styles. You know what AJ Styles was able to achieve on SmackDown on Tuesday night?
What?
He got fans to boo Daniel Bryan. When have you ever heard Daniel Bryan get booed? Yeah, since he was a heel probably like 5 years,
Hey, when he
6 years ago.
choked the hell out of the ring announcer, whatever the hell his name was.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
I can't bring that up. I'm sorry. It's on live TV.
Justin Roberts. I know that's why he got fired, and then he got brought back in 90 days. But yeah, AJ, the way that story has been told over a month, over time, has been organically creating up to this point to where AJ and Shane McMahon will now face each other at WrestleMania. I still would have liked to have seen AJ in the main event at WrestleMania, but this is a match I'm okay with seeing, and I think it'll be good because as opposed to, like you said, Brock and Shane, Brock's supposed to be like a beast, a monster, so what would you really have been able to do there with Shane? Because if Shane was able to go toe-to-toe with him, what's that say about guys like Owens and Orton and Rollins and all these other guys that were getting dominated,
That's true. And also, that brings it back to Raw. When he wins the title, what's going to happen? Who's going to beat him?
That's what I said. They're just going to he's just going to dominate till Roman steps up. So a year of Brock Lesnar suplexing. That sounds like something you're excited for, right? We'll talk about that later. I can already see it.
We'll get that. We'll talk about that next week during the preview show.
Yeah, sounds good.
I may throw something this week.
Then the SmackDown Women's title picture. Any SmackDown woman that does not have a match at WrestleMania, which really is only Nikki Bella, is able to compete. Nikki Bella and Reese, is able to compete in the Invitational, I guess you could call it, or open, whatever it is.
Yes.
So the champion Alexa Bliss will go against Mickie James versus Becky Lynch versus Carmella versus who am I missing? I'm missing somebody.
They said that
Natalia.
They also said that Naomi will be back in time.
I was going to say Naomi will be back in time in her hometown. That's what I think it's being built for.
We haven't seen Eva Marie in a while.
Oh, no. It's not good. Don't tell me Eva Marie shows up, man. I talked to someone about that. I don't know. I think she's done with the company. There's no mention of her or nothing.
We haven't seen her in a while, though.
Yeah. So that's an interesting match that'll take place. I'm really hoping they pull the surprise off and let Carmelo win, but we'll keep that for next week with the predictions.
I hope they maybe we see another former superstar. Maybe who's the one that just Kelly?
Maybe they return.
Maybe she turns. Maybe we'll see another diva. Maybe Lita will come back.
Maybe someone from NXT makes their debut too. That's down there. I don't know.
Maybe, I've heard about Asuka, but now they're saying she's going to stay down for a little bit more.
Yeah. Though she's been touring with SmackDown, so we'll see.
Maybe
Madison Square Garden. So we'll see. We'll see what takes place, if anything. But yeah, so that's kind of where that's at for that.
The tag.
We'll talk about I was going to say the tag team titles are going to be. The match is going to take place on SmackDown on Tuesday this week, and that's the Usos versus American Alpha. There's no confirmation that they'll even have a match. I have a feeling the Alpha is going to get put in the Battle Royal. Because there's too many matches already, and I feel like they're gonna display, and they're gonna say there's no one.
The only people that confirmed for the Battle Royal, speaking of which, has been Apollo,
Mojo Rawley, and Apollo Crews, and I think Ziggler. Yeah.
Whatever.
They're saying they're trying to get former people in for that too, so we'll see how that pans out. On the Raw side, you got to think Strowman's gonna be a guy that's gonna put himself in the hat. The Big Show also has said he'll be in the Battle
So him and Shaq are done.
That's what it sounds like. Yeah.
They all said blame it on Shaq. He didn't take it seriously enough.
That's what I heard. I heard Big Show officially confirmed himself in the Battle Royal. So, unfortunately, that match we won't
Let's
see.
be honest. I hope if this is his last Royal Rumble, let him be the first 2-time winner. I don't care. I would rather see the Big Show win that than anyone else. You want to know why? Because he's the one who most resemble the most out of Andre the Giant. And he was called the Giant in WCW. And wasn't there like a little thing saying that was his dad at one point?
I don't remember. There might have been something, but he was called the Giant, yes, when he started off in WCW. Then they brought him over and they called him, he was Paul White, and then they turned him into the Big Show in WWE.
Do you have a problem if he wins it?
No, I just think if Strowman's in it, he should win it.
I guess you're right. Yeah, I understand. I mean, I hope maybe it comes down to Strowman and Big Show. I would love that.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it. They had a good match on Raw in the main event a couple weeks ago. That's
probably
better
the
than what
best
Raw's done in the
match
last
in a while.
since. Yeah. So,
And
you
the
know,
shape that he's in is sick.
he looks real. Man, I was watching. I was watching something. I don't remember if it was like I think WWE posted like on this day, you know, whatever, 7-8 years ago, and Big Show was in a match, and I just looked and I'm like, man, like you can really see a big difference.
Well,
in
they
the
showed the
size of
same
him.
thing that they had when him and Strowman went against each other. They showed them a year ago, and you can see the difference in Strowman and Big Show
Both
to
of
what
them,
they are now. And they've both been working with each other.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm happy for both of them.
I am too.
So, SmackDown. What else? We have the women's tag team. Doesn't look like there's an Intercontinental title. It hasn't officially been announced, but I love this feud between Ambrose and Corbin.
Okay, time out. People are complaining about the Jericho 30-day rule. When the hell's the last time this guy's defended his title?
I don't know.
Can you tell me? When's the last time Dean Ambrose has really
It was on SmackDown. I know that, so I don't
Was it
remember when
before
the
the
last time
Rumble?
though. I think so. Yeah.
stripped that son of a 30-day
Wow,
rule? It's a 30-day
You're just going
rule.
off on everyone
Get it outta
tonight.
here. If the ICW is gonna go with Chris Jericho, you better
IWC.
whatever. You better freaking mention Dean Ambrose, 'cause that little prick hasn't defended that damn belt since before Royal Rumble.
Jesus, Matt, you're just going in tonight, Paul.
I'm
You're gonna have
tired
to get a
of this
censor
crap.
out on this guy.
These people have these damn belts and don't even defend it. It's stupid.
No, I agree that the 30-day rule has to be over across everyone. It
And
can't
at
just
the
be on one
prestige
person.
of a belt as the IC championship, and you're not going to defend the damn thing.
At least when Miz was doing it,
Give the damn belt to please to Byron Corbin. He deserves that shit more. Oh,
there he goes.
am I going full heel here?
I know you are going.
Are we
full
having the
heel.
Attitude Era?
I'm gonna have to cut you off.
Is it the
I'm gonna have to
Attitude
give
Era?
you. I'm gonna have to give you a document
I'm
next
the
week
rock
that
of
tells you
this-
what words you can and
I'm
cannot
the
say.
rock of this show. I can say whatever I want and won't get fired.
Hey, Paul, can you cut his feed? I'll do this the rest of the show by myself. I don't need this guy talking over here with all this smack.
What are you going to do, the CM Punk to me thing now? You're going to cut off my mic?
Yeah, cut his mic off. Can you do it?
He better not. Did he do it? Okay, you better not.
No, he didn't do it. He didn't get you. He didn't pull your mic. No, you got your don't play like your mic's cut off. Man, I just look at that. See, we got off the topic there.
Cruiserweight.
So,
Let's talk about the Cruiserweight.
Yeah, how did we miss on Raw side? We officially know that match too. We missed that. That's on the Raw side. Neville
Austin
will go 1-on-1 with Austin Aries.
I think we'll talk about next week. They may steal the show next week.
Yeah,
I
someone
think
better
they're-
call the OPD, right? Because
think-
they're about to steal the show, as Rick McCall always says.
If you give them the time that they deserve, they could bring the house down at WrestleMania.
I love when JBL says that, man. That's my favorite quote when he says that. Whenever they're in any city, he'll be like, someone called the DC Police Department because they just stole the show. Like stuff. He'll say that about every show that he commentates. He'll say that at least once. It just depends on where they are. But I think that match does have the very much chance to steal the show at WrestleMania. And just think, can you just, for a second, appreciate all of the talent that is on this card that you would never have imagined would even be in WWE? You know what I mean?
They were just talking about,
Aries, for one, right off the top of my head. A guy that was in NXT out injured.
well, AJ's already had one, but the club,
Yeah, the club going in as champions. AJ is going to be there. Like I said, Aries, Neville, another guy. You know, I know it's not their first one. Owens, another guy that's making his second appearance on Mania.
Oh yeah. Also, what's Sami Zayn doing?
Zayn and Joe both don't have matches yet, so you think maybe they're included in a match, or maybe they're just putting a battle royal.
Again,
They need to put some guys in that battle royal to give it some kind of star-studded, feel to it. So I'm hoping that some of those guys are inserted into it. It's not necessarily a demotion, but they need to get involved more guys in that match because Cesaro, Sheamus, those guys are already in the title match, stuff like that. So they need to put some people in that battle royal other than just, filling it with guys that have absolutely nothing to do. They need to put some kind of star in there.
But I think Joe
But-
deserves. I think Joe. I want to say Joe's going to get involved in that Triple H match, and also
You think Finn finally? You think that's where he'll show up?
I think Finn is going to come and help Seth Rollins.
I think he might align himself with the
game?
Triple H guys. Yeah.
Really?
Maybe we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. He hasn't. Maybe he'll show up tonight. I don't know what their plan is.
They said they're holding him off until WrestleMania to keep the suspense going.
That's fair.
I hope.
So.
God, man. I don't want to see him as a heel, man. Because how can you put him alongside Joe after all the crap they just went through?
That's like, how could you put Joe and Owens alongside? Joe debuted in NXT by attacking Owens because he was going after Zayn. Like, what's the irony in that?
That's
now he's
true.
attacking Zayn to help Owens. So
That's
it's
true.
like there's really no, connectivity there when it comes to that stuff. But yeah, of course, the biggest match, and to be honest with you, the match that I'm most looking forward to, and it's on the SmackDown side, is Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton for the WWE title.
Can't believe we just forgot about that.
No, I didn't forget about it. I was just trying to think where we were, and I was like, yes. I want to make sure I didn't miss any other matches. Oh, yeah, I did. Let's talk about this match before we get there. Officially announced again last week, The Miz and Maurice take on Nikki Bella and John Cena. How have you felt about the promos? I think the promos overall, especially the Miz and Maurice's part, I think they've been just overselling it, doing
I
a great
wish the
job.
Miz was
Are they
around
together?
that era.
Miz
Yeah,
and
they're-
Maurice?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're married, yeah.
Okay.
I wish the Miz was around during the Attitude Era because I bet you he could go off as much as he wanted then.
Yeah, he does a great job, man, on the mic. He's very underrated. He's a top 5 guy on the mic, and they don't give him enough credit. But I'm excited to see how that match takes place. I know a lot of people were skeptical, but when you look at it, the way the card's stacked, it's like, what was the Miz going to do? It gives Miz, a credible match, and it helps Nikki Bella because they're saying this might be her last WrestleMania, so at least she gets put in a high marquee match with John Cena. And Miz and Maurice are not bad either on the other side. Maurice was one of the longest reigning champions before she stepped away from the wrestling business. And there's a little bit of a personal factor to it, which is what I like between the
You
two
mean
of
with the
them,
whole
Nikki
they
and
blocked
Maurice.
her coming back?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So I like
that's
when they do
interesting.
stuff like that. So that'll be cool to see. And now
That's
let's
something
get
no one knew about.
No, a lot of people didn't. The only reason I saw it was I remember that WWE posted some kind of like watch Total Divas tonight, and that was the clip they posted was Maurice going off on him at like a lunch about it. So I was like, man, and then he finally used it on WWE programming, the main shows. So that's awesome. Talk about the final match. How do you feel about the way Orton finally turned on Bray Wyatt? I think that was fantastic.
I think it was the best thing ever, burning down the house, getting rid of Sister Abigail. But then last week, Bray Wyatt's a freaking weirdo.
Oh, yeah, that he put himself in the ashes.
Oh my lord!
And he said that now he's reborn. That's why I like this feud. You know what? As much you can vouch for it. What was that? They had that match back in what, like September, October between the two of them? I think it was at No Mercy in October. Orton lost to Wyatt
yes.
after Harper returned.
Yes.
And then a couple weeks later, he turned on Kane, when they were trying to work together. And he said, if you can't beat him, join him. So this is like a 3-4 month thing, over 4 months almost, right?
And they all thought it was going to end quicker, but it didn't.
Yeah, it's going all the way to WrestleMania, which is fantastic. This is the kind of storytelling that SmackDown does better than Raw. Look at the longevity of that feud, whether you think about it as a feud or not, because, yes, they were working together, but all this, it was planted all along. The two of them worked together. Survivor Series, Orton throws Wyatt out of the way. The tag team titles, Orton and Wyatt went them together. Wyatt starts throwing his Sister Abigail to Orton to hit the RKO.
That was
He
pretty
gives him
cool, by the way.
Orton wins the Royal Rumble when it comes down to the three of them. Wyatt gets eliminated. Orton eliminates Reigns. Wyatt finally wins the title, and that's when you started to see the pieces were all starting to get into place. But before it got even there, Orton says, I won't face you at WrestleMania. I won't do that. As long as you're the master and I'm the servant, I will not face you at WrestleMania. And then the next week, AJ gets his opportunity, but Orton said that it was all a lie all along. I love the storytelling. I think that those two should go back to the original way it used to be. If you won the Royal Rumble, not only did you get to pick the world title you wanted to face for, but you had the right to headline WrestleMania, and that match should close WrestleMania. You're talking about one of the greatest of all time in Randy Orton against one of the new face of fear and one of the best, newcomers to WWE. And they're both full-time talents on SmackDown that should close the show with a world title that's more prestigious than the Universal title since it's so new. But instead, we're going to get Brock Lesnar and Goldberg to close the show at WrestleMania.
Boo!
Despite that match lasting all of a minute and a half.
Boo the crap out of them.
And this is going to be 3 years in a row now that we have a part-timer in the main event to close the show. That I could think. It might even be more. No, I'm sorry. I think it's like 4 or 5. Because The Rock did 29 and 30 or 28 and 29. No.
29.
Yeah, no. You know what? Because Batista was a part-timer in 30. The Rock was 28 and 29. 31 was Lesnar again with Roman. 32 was Triple H and Roman. And then now this one will be Brock and Goldberg. And then people, listen, man, I think the way CM Punk left when he was getting a lot of stuff. But what he said was, right, I'm tired of the part-timers. That's 6 main events in a row. And I'm sure there might even be more if we go further back that a part-timer's been in the main event to
Punk
close the
lost
show.
his title to a part-timer.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm saying he had the longest reign in the last 25 years. So there was some benefit to his, to what he's gotten. But what he said about that is what I mean, that the part-timers get more than the full-timers. And yes, to an extent, yes, they elevate the talent by facing them. But does it really do that much when you see the title that's supposed to be the bigger of the two? It was the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. The title that's been around for over 100 years. And now it's being relegated to probably going to go on, at 9:30? Not even going to be the one of the last matches of the night? And everyone's like, oh, well, it's a main event still. No. Ever since SmackDown, when they did the brand splits, I remember that one year at Edge and Del Rio. That was the opening match on a WrestleMania card.
Yeah, it was
the year that Edge retired. That opened WrestleMania. The world title is SmackDown. It's come on. And now we're going to see that again between what might be one of the best matches of the night between the two of them. Because of the storytelling alone. There you go. Continue it.
I like that. Good one. So now that we've gone off and both have said our thing, should we move on to the last part of the show?
Yes, let's talk about that.
We'll get into this all next week, trust me.
All next week. This is going to be a recur. I know it's called March Madness because the NCAA tournament's going on right now, but we had our own little take on our own March Madness that we wanted to use here. It's a little bracket that we made. Matt's been working on it with the numbers, trying to make it happen, and that's why you've seen him looking down at his phone for parts of the show.
Sorry,
because he's trying to put it up on Twitter so that the fans.
All the matchups are up.
All the matchups are up for the first round. Now, let me just preface these comments with what exactly we did. For the most part, there's going to be some people you disagree with that are on it that aren't on it. There's some people that we might have missed. We understand that. I know off the top of my head, I could tell you right now when we did the 2000s and forward on one side of the bracket, and then on the other side of the bracket, it's going to be from the Attitude Era back. So, for instance, The Undertaker. Yes, he's been around the 2000s, but Matt, correct me if I'm wrong here, but Undertaker is on the Attitude Era and before bracket, right?
Yes.
Because his major he debuted in 1990, and his biggest for us we thought was during the Attitude Era and prior.
Other people in the Attitude Era will be Stone Cold. The Rock will be in the Attitude Era. Shawn Michaels. Also, that's pretty much the ones.
Yeah, for
Sting.
the ones that were also around, yeah.
One of the guys on the 2000s that people will be like, why is he in the Attitude Era? Will be Triple H. Will be on the 2000s because most of his big matches came from 2000 beyond, recently. So that's why Triple H is actually going to be in the 2000s.
And he's still done a lot, like you said, in the 2000s, as opposed to where you talk about guys like Stone Cold and The Rock. Yes, they were still around in the early 2000s, but their majority of their stuff was done in the early, to mid to late 90s. So that's why we included them in the Attitude Era part of the bracket. Some other guys you'll see on there,
Well, why don't I just list off the matchups?
I wasn't gonna. Well, I'll let that. If you want to list the matchups.
Yeah,
off?
I'll go ahead and do it right now.
Okay.
And then how about this? I'll list it off, and then you pick who you would pick to win.
I don't know if we could do that.
Why?
Well, let's talk about that. The matchups that he's about to list will be on Twitter from now.
They're already on for 1 week.
They're already up now, so you can go vote now. But they'll be from now till we're gonna do next Sunday.
Yeah, we'll do. Well, that's Monday, Sunday, whatever.
Monday morning, Monday afternoon. Probably we'll close the poll. So this way, by the time the show starts, we'll have the next round being able to tell you who the winners were and what the results were. And then we'll do the same thing next week for round 2. And then the following for round 3 until we're finally down to the finals. And then for the final show, for the finals, we'll then announce on here who the winner was. We will tell you our choices probably with like the results. So for next week, we might say, hey, I disagreed with this one.
Okay.
But hey, that's the way it worked out, for that. So please go and vote. Matt, I'm going to hand it off to you. Tell them about some of the matchups they got looking forward to in the first round.
With the 2000s, 2000 above. The number 1 seed for the 2000s, we discussed them 2 weeks ago. John Cena will be the number 1 seed, and he's going against a 16th seed that could do an upset because of the popularity he is right now, and that's Jeff Hardy, a.k.a. Brother Nero. So I would look out for an upset with that one. The 2 seed, we're going to have Triple H against Kane. The number 3 seed, Kurt Angle, will go against the number 14, Big Show. The 4th seed, Randy Orton, will go against the 13th seed, Rey Mysterio. They've had some really good matches in the past. 5th seed, we have Chris Jericho against the 12th seed, Batista. The 6th seed, we're going to have CM Punk against the 11th seed. Guess what, Anthony? Another Paul Heyman guy, Brock Lesnar. How about that matchup?
I like it.
The 7th and the 10th seed, I think, is probably the best matchup I have on this side. I have the Battle of the Spears, Edge against Goldberg.
No Brittany.
Oh, wow.
Oh, jeez. I like that. That's pretty good.
Who's the 7 in that one? Is it Edge?
Edge.
Okay.
And then finally, another good matchup, 8 and the 9. We have Daniel Bryan as the 8th and 9 as Eddie Guerrero. I think that's going to be a pretty good matchup.
Okay.
Now I'm going to move to the 1990s Attitude Era and below. We have the 1 seed is Hulk Hogan, Hulkamania. I chose him over The Rock as a 1 seed. I think he deserves it. Against the 16th seed, Rowdy Piper. Should be a pretty good matchup there. 2nd seed, I do have The Rock against the 15th seed, Ricky the Steamboat Dragon.
Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Ricky, same thing.
It's not.
The 3rd seed, I do have Shawn Michaels. Oh, stop that.
Thank you.
I have
Paul.
Shawn Michaels against the 14th seed, The Ultimate Warrior. The 4th seed, I'm going to have Stone Cold against the 13th seed, Bob Backlund. Backlund?
Bob Backlund.
I said Backlund. I'm stupid. 5th seed, I'm going to have Ric Flair against the 12th seed, Dusty Rhodes. We know the history they have, don't we?
Yeah, that's a good one right there.
The 6th seed, we're going to have Undertaker against Macho Man Randy Savage.
Wow. You had the Macho Man at 11. That's crazy.
Good for him. Why, you think he's too high?
I would have had him higher. Yeah. I like it. Hey, like I said, the numbers, they're just more so there for the sake of the bracket.
And I think this is a matchup of the one, another 7-10. We have 7 Sting against 10 Bret the Hitman Hart.
That's a good one.
And then the 8-9, we have 8 Andre the Giant against, you're going to help me with this dude's last name. Number 9, Bruno
Sammartino.
There we go. Andre versus Bruno. That's our seeds and brackets. They are online on Twitter. Please go and vote.
Yes.
And we'll talk about the results next week real quick before we do the preview. We'll start off with that.
Yes.
would be-
Also, sorry. Go ahead,
Just
Paul.
let them know that it would be at OT3 Podcast 1, right?
That's right. There you go. On Twitter. Please do. Yes. To also, just since you heard that, I know there's some guys that you might think were left off, and also the numbers are not resembling of necessarily who we think are the greatest of all time in order. Like, for instance, Sammartino, if you talked about it when it comes to the world title reigns, he was he had the longest reign in history. He probably wouldn't be down there. Bret the Hitman, another guy that was at 10 that we probably would have put higher when you go on in-ring ability. Again, the numbers is more so just for bracket reasonings. And I know I'm sure on the 2000 side we'll hear some commentary from people about having like this guy there, because I know I gave Matt an issue with CM Punk. He had him ranked a little bit higher, and he's like, well, it's not necessarily that I think Punk's the best of these guys. He's like, I just think that he should be a higher seed because of what he did during his time. So, again, don't look at it as this is us saying that this guy's better than that guy. It's more so of a, hey, let's vote and see that. For like Jeff Hardy in ring, Jeff Hardy's very good, probably not a 16 seed, but when it comes down to the guys he was against, we felt that these guys were a little bit more when it came to the WWE, because we based it again only off WWE, which is why guys like AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. Those guys aren't involved because they weren't big in the WWE during that time. They just started to become big in WWE as of recent. And on top of that, they weren't, not that they weren't big during that decade because of what they did to their other job, at their other jobs, at their other wrestling affiliations. We were just trying to keep it for WWE guys that were big during those times.
Yep. So
I think that pretty much, does it for that, like bracket-wise, to kind of sum up why we did what we did, right?
yeah, I think that's going to sum it up for the show, too. What do you think?
Yeah, I think
I can't
so.
wait for next week. Next week, it's going to be a longer edition of OT3, so you better
Yes.
buckle up your pants and get ready because we're going to be going through a lot next week.
We will try. We'll talk to Paul. We'll see if we could do it. No official announcement yet. We'll figure it out. But maybe we'll try and start 15 minutes early just to try and get everything in. If we can make it happen, we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
but
that
we'll
should
keep
work.
you updated on that throughout the week. When we can figure it out, we'll try maybe for a 6:45 start.
Rock on.
So, yeah, Paul, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Excellent. Yep. Thanks everybody for watching. You know where to go if you want to find out more about the bracket challenge, and let us know what you think about the matchups and all that good stuff. Hit us up on Twitter. It's at OT3Podcast1. Shoot us an email, ot3podcast@gmail.com, or we'll get you those delivered directly to us. And we'll go ahead and give you a shout out on one of the shows for sure. We'd love to hear from you. And then, of course, / Off the Top Turnbuckle on Facebook and on YouTube's. Make sure you subscribe, follow everything that just lets you be on top of whatever's going on in the OT3 world. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. That's it.
Shipes, little quick announcement. Shipe Sports Talk this week on Thursday will be our baseball preview show. What is baseball? That's what the segment's going to be called all year. So, baseball fans, you better tune in this Thursday. So we're going to break down the divisions, talk about the Nats, Mets, Orioles, give our predictions for the World Series. So, yeah, and we'll give an update on the bracket challenge. Right now, Julia's still in first place, but after the weekend that we just saw, we'll have a lot to talk about. So tune in Thursday for What is Baseball segment and for the March Madness segment.
Yeah, absolutely. So that just about does it for us. Enjoy this. We got 2 weeks left to WrestleMania. Enjoy Raw. Enjoy SmackDown. Enjoy NXT. And next week we'll be back to preview all of our NXT TakeOver and WrestleMania. So thanks for watching again tonight. From myself, Matt, and Paul, we appreciate it again. Paul, I hope you feel better. Thanks for helping out again tonight.
Yeah, of course.
And we'll see everyone next week.
As of right
And-
now, Jeff Hardy's beating John Cena. Go vote.
Oh, he's already got the votes in. So, like you said, go vote. Thank you again for watching. We'll see you guys next week on Monday, and see you Thursday for Shipe Sports.
See ya.
Have a good night, everybody.